6-6. I'm not even talking into the mic, am I? Welcome to the 6-6 portal reading. I don't know if it's going to be a reading. I think it's just going to be a breakdown on the energies according to Justice League. I'm going to do something different today. So there might not be any cards. So any of you tarot fans, probably this one's not for you. Okay, then on. Yes. Put that on, and we good to go. Always come on in like an amateur, innit? Hey yes, girl, what's going on? How's Mexico? Wild fit. I'll just wait. Meanwhile, I've got my super, hey Q, I've got my super dope blend. Sorry guys, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on my phone as well because my neighbour said she's gonna pick something up for me. Hey Kay, what's going on Miss Karen? What's going on sister? Tatiana, what go on? Yeah, my neighbour, she, I was babysitting her 9-month-old today. Guys, she's so cute. So I was babysitting Miss Cece today, and then for something, hey waist and beads, girl. For some reason, she had this big package with her, and then she had this other errand to run. So I took the package home with me, and she said she's going to pick up the package this evening. So I don't know. I'll just have to run downstairs. You guys are going to have to talk amongst yourselves. You know, it's old school. We do it old school. Other than that, I'm just going to wait for a few more of you to come in. I think we're still going to pray just so that we are all feeling together, you know, communion. But I am going to focus on the body today. As you know, like the 5 aspects of the soul. It's so ratchet at my windowsill, isn't it? It just needs a lick of paint. It needs some love. Hey girl, I'm not bad, thank you, Key. I can't say your name though. Hey Jasmine, y'all hit the like button when you come in. Yeah, my whole outside of the house. Thank you, sister. Thank you, sister, girl. My whole of the outside needs a lick of paint, so how the ratchetness of it all, man. What else did I want to say to you lot? We're gonna be really diving deep into the 5 aspects of the soul today, simply because I just feel like Janabadi, our moderator is here. Yeah, girl. Simply because there's been so much going on. Remember what I said last time, that extraterrestrial, if that's what we want to call it, or other life forms are going to be a theme, and they were in such a very big way. And also the truth about the Enel and Enki energy is going to be explored again as a theme. I've been seeing bits and pieces, nothing that's really like made me get gassed, but it's there, it's coming. We're really going to find out what that really is. But as we are focusing on the body today, because it is Gemini season, we are going to be focusing on the shoulders, the lungs. Guys, wait, what else? Now, because I took a bit of it. Stop. Boom. So, Gemini rules the shoulders, the lungs. Basically, it says Gemini rules the nervous system, which includes the shoulders, the lungs, the arms, the hands, and the fingers. Gemini as the twins demonstrates the duality of these body parts, two of each, split right down the middle. So you would think that I wasn't focused on my lungs, but I am. This is full of lung clearing stuff. So you've got the mugwort in there. There's I didn't know rose petals was for the lungs. There's that in there. There's other really great stuff. I think there's dandelion in here as well. That's for the lungs. I've also got the lotus flower back. Listen, just don't operate any heavy machinery and have nothing to do if you're going to start playing around with lotus flowers, because I just had some lotus flower in my little roll up from earlier with the smoke blend, no ganja. Why was I passed out, blood? This is why I'm late, because I lay down because I was just feeling some type of way. I was out in the sun with the baby and she wanted to be on the swing the whole time. It was hot as hell. Habiba, hey girl. It was hot as hell, but I enjoyed it. And yeah, but when I got back inside, I just lay down for a short minute. Next minute, hour and a half's passed. I was supposed to have a foot massage booked. I think I missed it because if she knocked the door, girl, I didn't hear that. But she didn't message me, so I guess that we both was on the same vibe, man, because I just wanted to sleep. So I would have been here earlier, but the way the lotus flower had me set up, yeah. So take 2 pulls of the lotus flower. We're going to get into prayer, and then we're going to get into these aspects and what they mean. I mean, we already know, don't we? We're pretty clear on these aspects. Seeds here and rose have stopped since I found out I'm... Oh, you're having a baby, Conscious K. I love that for us. I love that for us, collective. We're getting a baby. I love it when babies come. Yeah. I lost my whole train of thought there because I just got gassed about the baby, and today spending time with baby Cece. It was so funny because we haven't really spent time together, and she the way we did it, yeah, her mum, I met her outside with her mum in the buggy, and her mum went one way and I pushed her another way. She didn't realise that her mum wasn't pushing her, so when we got to the park and I took her out the buggy, she was devastated. She didn't know what to do. But we got it together, man. We got it together, went for a walk. By the time we got to the swings, we were cool. Now I know what to do with her, it's the swings. And then I got to swing as well. It was wonderful. So yeah, guys, we know what the aspects are because we've been on them for a while, right? So, but I think this Justice League movie that was made in 2017, there's 2. There's 1 2-hour movie, same film, but there's a 4-hour version of it as well, which breaks down all of the hey Victoria, breaks down all of the characters, so the origins of the characters, or just gives a little bit more of a deeper backstory to the characters if you haven't already seen their individual movies, like Victor and The Flash. They just gave more insight into what those characters were. They also gave more insight into the Thanos-like character. It was really difficult to watch because it was 4 hours long, so I watched it over like 4 days. It was a lot, especially, hey girl, Miss Bailey. Especially where I've already seen the movie recently, it's really hard for me to watch a repeat of the same thing. Like, just don't have the capacity, but I did because I knew that I wanted to discuss it at some point, and I was going to do a whole separate video by itself. And then I realised, wait, it's not what I thought it was. This is a movie about the 5 aspects of the soul, and the reasons why we have to be harmonizing these aspects in order to navigate ourselves through this next part of ascension, however it's going down. Right, I'm going to take 2 pulls because I haven't smoked. This has got a little bit of, it's got a bit of wacky in it, but you know. So smooth. Hey, intuitive diamond. Hit the like button when y'all come in, my loves. How you lot been though? How have you lot been? I'm trying to think about how I've been since I last saw you. So I last saw you, I'm looking at my calendar. It's on the 6th. So what's been happening since then? I feel like there's just been a lot of good news. Like personally in my tribe, there's just been a lot of beautiful, it's been celebration, there's been a lot of healing, there's been a lot of, especially when it comes to the body, I've been seeing a lot of people removing themselves from certain toxic habits that they've been moving with for a long time, and if they haven't been able to remove themselves from the toxic habit is being dragged from them. So which is all good. And then letting go of cycles has been a theme also. So I feel like, especially around this time, if you look back, have a look at 7 years ago. What was 7 years ago? It's like 2014. Am I lying? No, that's not. It's like 9, so 2014, 15, 16. 2016. If we look back at 2016 to now, there's going to be some things that were so heightened in 2016 and were a theme for us in the following years, but now things are truly coming to a close, and the difficulty for us as a collective is understanding or understanding that the cycles that we have gone through for the last 7 years have not been for us to hold on to and have not been for us to repeat. If we didn't get it in those 7 years, that's the end of that. That's what I'm feeling. It's like if you didn't catch the lessons that you needed to learn, it's up to, I mean, obviously we've got free will, so we can repeat if we want to, but do you really want to? Do you still want to be moving with the same themes that you were moving in do you still want to be moving with the same themes in 2030 that you were moving with in 2016? Do you want to be closing it then? I mean, I feel like you've got the rest of the year to decide, but for me, like the 16th, tomorrow is a very, very poignant date for me and a certain cycle, and I've been really truly trying to wean myself off of this cycle. When the actual date, the 16th, comes up, the 7 year on the 7th day comes up, I'm ready, I'm out. Like I've actually booked some acupuncture for myself tomorrow as well. So like I've learned the lessons. I'm not trying to hang on to anything to do with that cycle, and yeah, I'm feeling excited to release it. I'm feeling excited, and I'm hoping that the energy from that particular cycle subsides as the actual day comes and goes tomorrow, personally. But you know, I'm not really sure how that's going to play out for me, but all I know is that I'm not feeding it anymore. I'm not feeding anymore. That's another thing as well, the dark and the light. Like, what are you feeding the most? I was speaking to one of my loves on Monday, I think it was, and he was telling me about how certain energies were just clinging to him during, I think he was on tour, and he said to me, you know, he still doesn't understand it. I said, you do. You're just in denial. I said, basically what it is that whatever dark energies approach us are just a reflection of the dark energies that we ourselves have within us, are feeding. So, you know, again, we're not playing victim anymore. We don't have the right even to play victim with the information and the knowledge that we have gained in the last 7 years, let's say. This frizz is getting on my nerves. In the last 7 years. So, again, what are you feeding? You know, are you feeding the more positive aspects of yourself, or are you still feeding the lower aspects of yourself? Because I don't think any of them are negative or positive. I just think there's higher and lower at this point. So that's definitely something to be aware of if you still feel that you're holding on to certain energies. And for me, it's really difficult because I feel like there are still certain energies that I reflect that no longer reflect me, but again, finding it difficult to release certain cycles, if that makes sense. So, and even the releasing of a cycle doesn't mean that there's any love loss. The releasing of a cycle just means that you are no longer giving your energy to that cycle anymore. You're no longer feeding that cycle anymore. You're no longer entertaining that, you know, pouring into that anymore. That's all that means. Do you know what I mean? It's not a thing where, you know, 2017, 2018 energy, we were just cutting off every motherfucker. We didn't even care. Like, it was just like, yeah, you're toxic. I feel like you're toxic. Let me cut you the fuck off. Really and truly, they were just a reflection of the thing that we were feeding. And we'd still continue to feed it. So there was a mass culling of people in our lives. And then when we look back, like, some of us don't even remember why we cut off certain people or we stopped fucking with certain people. You know what I mean? And if we are vibrating high enough, then we can go back to some of these people and say, you know what, I fucked up. They might not, it's up to them whether they want to forgive us or they don't, but you know, there's definitely some people that were cut off unnecessarily, just because we was being encouraged to do that. That was the theme, that was the energy of the time, because everybody, oh god, this is heavy. Look at my blue agate. I need to put this behind my device so that it doesn't drop back. Oh god, oh, it's heavy, yeah, that was the theme. That's how we were all moving, really and truly not fully understanding that we are all one. Whatever you were cutting off was a part of you, and or a part of you that we were refusing to accept. I think that we were heavily invested in doing our shadow work, however not fully understanding exactly what that meant and how that showed up for us, especially with the people that were in front of us. So yeah, I want to get into, I just want to pray with you so that we can all connect, and then I just want to start talking about this Justice League thing. Alrighty, a divine mother and father who live within us, high be thy name. Our freedom come, your will be done in us as it is within you. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses against ourselves and others, as we forgive those who trespass against us and themselves, through lifetimes, blurred lines, timelines, and levels of consciousness. Because I had to put the blurred lines in there. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the absence of love. For we are the kingdom, we are the power. Divided we are weak, united we are victorious. And to you, the Almighty, we give all of the glory forever and ever. Duanete. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done, it is done, it is done. So it is, and so it will be, Ashe. I invite my ancestors, my guides, my angels, my Orisha, the guardians of the sea and the air and the earth into this space so that we can fully tap into the aspects of the soul and what it means in these times for us and how important it is to harmonize these energies. So yes, let's get into it. We are going to start with divine masculine energy because that's the first energy that appears in the movie, is a divine masculine. Divine masculine is represented as Bruce Wayne, who is Batman, and Batman has already tapped into his feminine energy because he can feel that something isn't right, something is coming, and he doesn't know what it is, but he knows it's coming, and he's preparing for that by pulling together a team. I also think that, I don't know how Superman died. I still can't find the damn film, so if any of you guys know which film I need to watch to see why and how Superman died, let me know, yo, because I really don't know which movie to watch. I don't want to watch them all. Because DC's dark. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so Batman has some type of awakening when Superman dies. So he's called Superman in to assist him in fighting an enemy, I'm imagining, right? And somehow Superman dies. Now, regardless of Superman's power, we've always known that he's not immortal. We've always known that Kryptonite can done his dance. So it seems like Kryptonite has done his dance. Lex Luthor has had something to do with this as well. Again, I don't know which movie that is, so I'm just guessing. Obviously, Lex Luthor is the arch enemy of Superman, but let's just stick to it because it's just very beautiful. I'm just going to freestyle it. I took notes, but I'm going to try and freestyle. So Batman now has had an awakening because of the death of Superman. Now, Superman plays an extremely incredible part in this whole 5 aspects of the soul. So Superman's called in. Batman has decided the first person the divine masculine goes to is the Shadow, who is Aquaman. Now, Aquaman is pissed. Aquaman's heavy in his shadow energy. He's drunk majority of the time. He's angry. He's resentful. He's got mummy issues. He doesn't know where he belongs. He's not part of anything because he's half human and half Atlantean. So he doesn't really know. And when we say Atlantean and they're submerged under the water, we'd say that he's obviously living in the underworld. So his emotions are all over the place, and even though he has advisors, he has higher forces and energies supporting him, he don't give one fuck, and he don't want to help nobody. He doesn't like Earth and he doesn't like Atlantis, but at least in Atlantis he can submerge himself. He can get lost in the depths and the darknesses of his emotions of the sea. Give him heavy Scorpio energy, Jesus. And Aquaman, heavy Scorpio energy. I would say Batman is heavy Capricorn energy, Papa Capricorn, divine masculine energy. So obviously the divine masculine now, Batman, he goes to the Shadow and says, like, I need your help. Shadow says, fuck you. I don't really want to help you. I don't give a fuck about Earth. And I definitely don't want to get into no partnership with you after you were there when Superman died. Like, blood, that doesn't even seem safe for me. I'm not really trying to move with you. And boom, back into the water he goes and stays there, even though it is his destiny almost to be part of the to be part of the 5 aspects. So so we've lost shadow temporarily, divine masculine, poetry's shadow, and it's a long thing. And then he goes to, or should I say, meanwhile here's the alignment. So while the divine masculine has had the awakening with the death of Superman, meanwhile Diana Prince, which is the strangest of names, Diana Prince, who was invented long before Princess Diana, but I'm not saying nothing. Yeah, Diana Prince, better known as Wonder Woman, is also having her own reawakening, because apparently with Wonder Woman, what happened with her is that she loved somebody, and this somebody died, and when that somebody died, she disappeared. She went underground, she went into her feelings, and she weren't really on job. She was unfocused, she was all over the place because of the heartbreak that she was feeling. And that sounds very familiar for the divine feminine and the journey so far. Bear in mind, this movie was made in 2017. Let's just keep that in at the forefront. So Diana now, she's being awakened by her kinfolk, by her, and not ancestors, so to speak, but her sisters. Her sisters are encouraging her to take up her whip and her sword. She's also the Queen of Swords. If we were looking at them as tarot characters, she's also the Queen of Swords, or the Lady of the Lake, if you want to go even deeper. And she's been given a signal that she needs to get back on job. She ain't got time to be in her feelings, loafing and worrying about Smuddy's son. Like, get it together, girl. So meanwhile, she's having this awakening. Batman, divine masculine, is trying to pull together a team because his intuition and his instincts are letting him know that danger the bolt. Next thing you know, Diana bucks up with Bruce, and she infiltrates his security, and she gets into his secret space, and they begin discussing the fact that, because she's got deeper insight into what's happening. Bruce has got instincts on, like, there's something don't feel right, but Diana knows the facts. Diana's like, look, Oracle, yeah? Diana's like, look, I got this. And remember, these are all aspects within us. Nothing's outside of us. They are the same thing, yeah? She's like, look, it's not coming, it's here. The problem is here, and we need to fight it. And she breaks down what the problem is. And she says that it's the ending of a world. It's the ending of a world based on these 3 mother boxes. And she's like, yeah, if these 3 mother boxes align, they will destroy the earth and everything and everyone in it. And those that survive will become slaves to the people then that started this whole wanting to destroy the earth. She says there was one time though when they came, because remember, Wonder Woman's like 5,000 years old. So she said there was one time when they tried to do this, and I think what they're talking about is the changing of an age. It's not necessarily doom and gloom, the world is going to explode or implode. It just means we're changing of age. So as we've already experienced from like 2019 to this present date, we're very clear that we have moved from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. And with that being said, there's a completely different energy, there's a completely different head of state, so to speak, if you like, and certain energies have been trying to infiltrate that. So there's always, I feel like there's been a mirror of ascension. So if ascension means that we are raising in consciousness and that we are mutating into crystalline and that we are multi-dimensional beings and being able to go through the different dimensions and the different realities and realms, then there has to be a mirror of that, but of a lower vibrational. So we've got the multiverse in with Zuckerberg, we've got 5G instead of 5D, we've got this mutation. So if some of us are going into crystalline, then some of us are going into something else because of the thing that was taken in 2021. So so do you see, there's always going to be a parallel. It's already showing us parallel timelines, parallel worlds, parallel realities that actually mirror each other. Gemini season. So Diana's like, look, this is what happened. The last time this happened, we defeated the enemy by coming together. And she said, she spoke specifically about the Atlanteans, the Amazons, and the earth, people of the men. She described them as men, and she also spoke of the ancient gods and other guardians of the space. And they all came together to save Earth, which was, again, just that section itself was a bit like, because why would everybody, I mean, I know they've got it's like having a common enemy that's coming to bully. If you don't save one place, then you're definitely gonna have to unity consciousness, exactly, conscious K-moon. If we don't save Earth, then they're gonna come to Mars or Sirius or wherever they go, all these different realms and spaces, they're gonna come eventually to us, and we don't want that. So let's save Earth. After it's been reported that this thing has already done this to thousands and thousands and thousands of other spaces, why is it when you get to Earth, there's this collective consciousness to come together and save it? And again, like my mind's going at 150, and it's like, well, because it's all the same place. Earth's much bigger than we've been told. The old maps already tell us that. We know about the firmament, and we know that we're under some type of dome. So like, what's outside of the dome? What does it look like outside of the dome? So to me, the way it looks like is, like somebody said the other day that New York looked like Mars. How do you know that? How do you know that's what Mars looks like? But it makes sense. The red planet, red skies or orange skies. It's been depicted so many times in science fiction films that yeah, I guess it kind of did look like Mars. But then, you know, there's been many a times when the skies have looked strange, like different skies of different Earths. And then let's not talk about northern lights. Let's not talk about northern lights showing up in parts of America and other places where it really hasn't been seen before. And to me, again, this is the crumbling of the firmament. This is us truly being able to see the real. Like, we're out of the Truman Show with the blue Simpson skies and clouds, and we are being able to see the variations and the multitude of ways that the skies or our environment can be seen. Some of us, and the thing is, some people see it, some people don't. And again, that's definitely got to do with your first eye and how much you have been working to keep that or to open that or to decalcify that. Boom. So right now on board we have the Divine Masculine Bruce Wayne, and we have Wonder Woman Diana Prince as the two main leaders in fighting this force. There's no other entities willing to do this. And then Bruce Wayne finds the Flash. Now, the Flash is the inner child. God bless this character. The Flash is the inner child, very sweet, very innocent, very in awe of all things, and a junk food junkie, first of all, and very, very imaginative. If you watch this movie, you'll see that whenever there's a problem, it's the inner child, it's the Flash that comes up with a theory or an idea as to how they can tackle that. So the Flash is in. He hasn't got to be asked twice. And the Flash comes from the mother has been murdered, apparently by the father, who is now serving life in prison. And so there is the mother wound, and there is the absent father for the inner child. And it's funny because there is a scene in the movie where the inner child knocks over Aquaman, and to me it's hilarious, because I've always said that the shadow is born of the inner child. You know, the inner child's experiences gives birth to the shadow, but we'll come back to that. So anyway, boom. So the inner child's in, and the inner child says, the thing with me is, like, I move so quickly. My superpowers, he got hit licked by lightning, and so he moves at the speed of light. So much so that, like, I have to eat. He described himself as just a black hole, a snack black hole, where he just has to eat consistently in order to keep his energy up. And I feel like, remember I was talking last month about, you know, the things we were craving, and the different chemicals we were craving, the different nutrients and minerals that we were craving at that time. To me, big inner child energy. There was a lot of recollaboration going on. There was a lot of information being eaten up. And yes, conscious K Moon staying playful. The Flash had this very sweet innocence and playfulness to him. He looked like he played too much, but then actually getting that if he played too much, it could cost people their lives. So there was also a maturity of the inner child during this movie, and obviously during the time that we've started to understand, because it hasn't just been about healing our inner child, it's been about, or our inner children, it's been about, you know, making sure that our inner children were not having tantrums, we're not having outbursts, meltdowns, and harming themselves during their process. So basically, this is the Flash. Flash is in, and so right now, you've got the Flash, speed of light, imagination. You've got the divine feminine, intuition, instinct, and strength, and then you've got the divine masculine, who is the leader, who's also, I found it very funny that Bruce Wayne hasn't really got any superpowers, because the Flash was like, okay, these are my superpowers, what are yours? And Bruce Wayne is like, yeah, I'm rich. That's his superpower. And I thought about it, I was just like, wow, like, really and truly, I feel like during the spiritual ascension process, I feel like we've had to change our whole relationship with what we class as wealth, but at the same time, understanding that wealth in the monetary form is resources, and the more resources we have, the more options that we have. And so therefore, there's nothing wrong with accumulating wealth during our ascension process. That was a very clear message to me. And it does more good than harm if in the right energy. It's only where the money has been the root of all evil because it has been in evil hands. That's it. So boom. So you got these three now: the mother, the father, and the child, the Holy Trinity in. And so that's I think that's what those are the three most important aspects that have been with us throughout our entire lives. You know, we've always known about the Holy Trinity: the mother, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. The mother, the child, and the father. We've always known about this Holy Trinity, and thought that that's where the buck stopped, even though we were clear that we had shadow work to do and we were a higher self. Boom. So let's get into it. So now that the three of them are as one now, then they are ready to recruit the higher self. They're aware of the shadow and they're allowing the shadow to do whatever the shadow wants to do. Now it's time to recruit the higher self, who is Victor. Victor is the son of a scientist and whose mother was killed in a car crash. He also would have been killed in that car crash had his scientist father not found one of the mother boxes and saved this boy's life, but made him into a cyborg. So he was half man and half machine, AI. So Victor's Vex. He's got the mother wound also. Remember, we're talking about the higher self, you know. But the higher self has also got the mother wound. And I think that when we're talking about the higher self, I feel like the higher self has had to experience all of the wounds in order to continue to have these experiences and transcend these experiences. What's the word I'm looking for? What does Violet Flame do? Transmute. To transmute these experiences in order to become the higher self, because Victor wasn't born the higher self. Victor was born like any other. Victor was born like the rest of us. He was a very academic child. He enjoyed sports. He enjoyed. He was very smart, just like his parents. His parents were both very, very academic. And so, you know, we can say that he was quite privileged. Make sure, Hannibal, that you watch the 4-hour movie as well. There's one, make sure you watch the 4-hour one as well. But so he was very privileged and entitled. And he had huge daddy issues that his mother was continuously trying to pacify him away from. Mother was always trying to overcompensate for the father's absence. And so when the mother was killed and the child was saved through technology, there was deep resentment from the higher self. Yeah, I said it. There was deep resentment, because I feel like the higher self, I feel like we have been made to believe that the higher self doesn't have emotions. The higher self is not of this earthly realm, so therefore doesn't have the same emotions as us. But think about it. If God in the religious texts has fury and favor, and these are emotions. So why wouldn't the higher self also have emotions? And our emotions are born of experience. And if the higher self is the oldest aspect of us, then surely it must have some level of emotion. And I feel like we have been taught that if we are acting from our emotions, then we are not acting from our highest level of consciousness, when in fact sometimes it is the very emotions of the higher self that bring us to certain conclusions, solutions, and decisions that are for our highest, greatest good. My ancestors be killing it. Y'all be killing it! Because, listen, I couldn't have written this in notes, because I really feel I couldn't have done this in notes. This is how it's got to come out. So you lot are killing it. So basically, Victor is, as the higher self, very, very, very resentful, very, very torn up, very, very alone. Because think about the higher self as well. The higher self has been rarely tapped into. Before this process of ascension, how many of you tapped into your higher self? It has been neglected, it has been overlooked, it has been undermined, it has been unseen, it's been invisible for the longest time, hasn't it? A lot of focus has gone on the shadow, and the fact that the shadow has been misunderstood, which is true, but the higher self has been completely neglected, completely undermined and overlooked, and been replaced by a god or a deity outside of ourselves. So can you imagine, all of a sudden now we have this awakening, or this ascension process begins, and we're like, yeah, higher self, what are you saying? Victor was out. Listen, Divine Feminine was looking for Victor. Victor tapped into her and was like, yeah, meet me here. And then they met, and the next thing you knew, she's like, oh, I understand that you feel isolated and alone. I once felt like that. But the very reason that you're here means that you must want a healing. This is the Divine Feminine having to reason with the higher self, and that's what we had to do. We had to tap into our Divine Feminine first before we could tap into any higher self. And the two of them had to reason. And even then, the higher self weren't fully about it, because didn't trust that we would honor it and use it properly. In it, no, the film was deep here. The film was deep. This is why it took me days to watch it, because I just had to stop. I couldn't watch it all in the 4 hours. I had to take my time. Because I really wanted to come and give this to you in a way that it could really resonate, and for you to be able to see yourselves in these characters and know that they live within you. Thank you, Conscious K Moon Traveler. Thank you, girl. So that's why we haven't got any cards today. I don't feel that there's a point, because the only reason I was using the cards was to give you lot receipts, but the film's going to give you the receipts, so I don't have to pull no cards for this thing. And I feel like that film was so relevant. I was brought to watch that film because it has everything to do with what's happening right now. And remember, in these movies, they have to show us what they're going to do before they do it, or they have to show us what's going to go down so that they don't get the karma. That's what they have to do. So that's why Hollywood was created to obstruct karma from those that are trying to obstruct us from who we truly are. Boom. Let's take another couple pulls of my thing because this is really good. I think the lotus flowers is helping as well. Can you hear that? I think that's a magpie. Well, what, Mr. Magpie? Where's your wife? That's a magpie. Been living in a treehouse long enough. We don't really get mockingbirds here. To know that that's a flipping magpie. But boom, let's continue. So the divine feminine now is reasoning with the higher self, who is doing higher self work, hasn't taken its powers to do any dark shit. The higher self has always been about helping people, about justice, really. It's about justice. And but lives in the shadows still. The higher self lives just as much in the shadow as the shadow energy, right? So thank you, girl. Thank you, mama. So we have to be clear about just how these aspects have come together for us, within us, and what we've had to do in order to awaken them. So and it looks like in this whole thing, the divine masculine and the divine feminine energy have been working together the whole time. So remember, it was the divine masculine that went to the inner child and the shadow and said, like, Wagwan, you're helping us. And then it was the divine feminine that had to go and tap in with the higher self. Everybody's been playing their part. Every aspect of you has been playing their part, whether or not you've been aware of it, whether or not you've given it credit, space, and reverence for the work that all of the aspects within you have been doing. Boom. So now there's 4 of them now. No, wait. Because Victor decides, because they tried to steal the mother box from Victor. You've got to understand, the mother box, his cyborg mother, his technological mother, is all he's got. So he has access to it. So those that are looking for it, obviously have come to his space and they've kidnapped his father, because they can smell the scent of the mother box on his father, who has been working with this mother box. And so Victor decides, in order to save his father, regardless of the resentment he has towards him, he's going to have to work with the divine feminine, divine masculine, and the inner child right now. And the way that he works in this whole movie is that this mother box, which is being sought after by these darker forces, is also his mother, gave birth to him. The enemy even says, you were born of her chaos, when they come into contact with each other. And chaos meaning, in order for something new to happen and be created, there needs to be some chaos. We see it every day in childbirth. Every day in childbirth. I don't know a baby who has not come through chaos, even if it's C-section. Even if it's C-section, because the mother has still had to experience some level of labor, some level of discomfort, some level of leaving oneself. You've had to, it's an outer body experience, giving birth, to bringing a child into this world. So the chaos in which we are experiencing right here, right now, and it's been chaotic long before the lurgy came about. Wait, I need to take this thing off my skin. It's on my body, and there's no need for me to have my phone on my leg like that, because the thing's radioactive. We know that. So boom. So the chaos in which something new needs to be born. So these 4 aspects are together now, and it makes sense that that it's these four aspects, that it's the masculine, the feminine, the inner child, and the higher self that have come together. Thanks, Habiba, for the donation, my darling. Thank you so much. So it's these four aspects that we know that we had to work on the most, even though in order to tap into them, we have had to do the shadow work. We have had to do the releasing work. We have had to really get into why we had so much toxicity when it came to these aspects. So boom, these four aspects now are fighting the enemy. And the enemy mentions to the divine feminine that she has the blood of the ancient gods. Now, I don't know about you lot, yeah, but I'm telling you this from today, yeah, I'm ancient. I know that. I really, really know that. That's why bare times I've been saying, like, I'm tired, I don't want to come back here, I don't want to do this again, I'm tired. Like, with chest, I've changed my mind now. I think that if for any reason I had to leave this vessel, I kind of want to see what happens next. I really do. I want to be part of it now. I'm just like, it's getting exciting now. It's getting good. So, boom. The four aspects are working with each other, and just as they look like they are about to be defeated, who comes in? Who rocks up? The shadow. Aquaman comes, big and gorgeous. I ain't gonna lie to you, that boy cute, bad. And the shadow comes in and saves the day, saves all of the other aspects and integrates. Because that's all we've been trying to do, especially with the shadow energy, is to integrate it, so that it is a part of us and not something that just shows up when we are panicked or in danger. Because remember, it's never been the higher self that showed up when we're in danger. It's always been the shadow. I don't think my higher self's beat up nobody. Thank you, E. Perry, for the donation. I don't think, thank you so much. I don't think my higher self has beat anybody's ass. It's always been my shadow. My shadow has always been the one to cut people up, drag people, and make them feel terrible. It's always been my shadow. So the shadow has always been almost like an outsider, something that we've been ashamed of, something that we've wanted to hide, something that we haven't wanted to display, especially when we are in relationships with others, other aspects, divine feminine, masculine. Definitely don't want to show that to our children. We definitely don't want to be disrespectful to, if we can see the higher self as maybe our elder. You know what I mean? We've always been like really resistant to allow the shadow to live its authentic life. And now that we've done this work, the 5 aspects of the soul, which you can still get your readings over on Patreon, link in the bio, we can definitely see now that it's always been the shadow that's been the hero. It's always been the shadow that's been the hero. So boom, 5 of them are together now. 5 aspects are together and they want to save the world, so to speak. But when you see how brilliant this movie is, like the plot, because it would have been enough with just the 5 of them, the 5 aspects of the soul coming together and working together to defeat darkness, to defeat the destruction of their environment. But no, it gets deeper. Because now, remember, we're moving into the age of Aquarius. What does the age of Aquarius mean? It means that science and spirituality have to be married. And guess what? Who's science? Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is science, no? And the higher self being the cyborg. That's science. And spirituality. Who's spirituality? Diana Prince. Wonder Woman. And the dialogue between Bruce Wayne and Diana is epic. Epic. Because there is one scene where Diana tries to drag Bruce, and by saying that he's I can't remember exactly what, and I'm glad I don't remember exactly because I don't want to spoil it for y'all. But then he says, "What about you? Where have you been? You know, what have you been doing? You know, your man dies and you disappear for 100 years. You don't want to do nothing. So, what have you been doing exactly? If you're dragging my methods." Because you know the divine feminine's been dragging the divine masculine's methods in it, because I know I have. Like, I'll be honest. So we've been dragging divine masculine's methods and how they roll. We have not allowed divine masculine energy to lead, to be in their authentic energy of leadership. And many would argue, well, we don't want to be dragged into a ditch. We don't want to be led into a ditch. My mum used to say that shit. So, definitely it's been a theme that divine feminine has not had any faith or trust in the divine masculine's leadership skills. And one thing about Bruce Wayne, he said, I am no longer working with science on this shit, I'm working with faith. The marriage happened within the masculine, and then it was reflected by Diana. Because then Diana turns around and says, you're right. I did disappear. I did go within myself. I did allow myself to fall off because my heart was broken. So, but now I'm ready to lead. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm ready to lead. And he doesn't stop her. He doesn't say, no, I'm the leader. He says, let's do this. Let's do this. And they do it together. When I tell you this film, yeah, nah, DC went inside. Anyway, so you got the 5 aspects of the soul now in the age of, on the dawn of the age of Aquarius. Because in 2017, we still hadn't touched it yet, you know. We hadn't really touched it yet. Fatima, Twiggy, well girl. Yeah, so we hadn't really touched on this age of Aquarius, but we knew it was coming. Smell it. It wasn't until that alignment in 2020 where all of the planets aligned with the sun like that. Can't do it straight. You can see my bingo, but I'm here for it. Yeah, you know when they like aligned, that was 2020. It was on the 21st. Was it the 12th or the 21st? I think it was the 21st of the 12th, 21st of December 2020. That's when that alignment happened, and it was the end of an epoch. That signified the end of 26,000 years cycle. That's when we knew Age of Aquarius was in and popping. But the build-up started from 2012. You already know that. Felt that shift in 2012, December. Same thing, same date, 2012. So by the time 2020 came and that alignment came, we were like, okay, it's on and popping. This is the date. So 2017, they were just letting us know what we had to do, but who knew? Who knew that we had to harmonize our aspects? So boom. So you got the 5 aspects of the soul on the dawn of the age of Aquarius, and the only reason the enemy has been able to infiltrate and grab hold of even 2 of these mother boxes is because he said the Kryptonian has died. Now the Kryptonian was meant to be the strongest, the Kryptonian being Superman, the strongest entity on Earth. And according to the little backstory that they gave of Superman, Superman was loved dearly by both his mother and his father, Jor-El, I can't remember his mom's name, and Kal-El was given to Earth as a gift and told to protect and to love the inhabitants of this space, and so that's what Kal-El did. Thank you. Thank you. So that's what Kal-El, Superman, did. So, but with his death, it allowed all these other entities to come in. Now, guess who Kal-El is? You and me. You and me are Kal-El, who were living before Ascension. Let me break that down. We were Kal-El, not being aware that we had these 5 aspects. We were just living our lives quite ignorantly. We had gifts, we had strengths, we had these things, but we didn't understand where they came from, how they came about. So now that the enemy can infiltrate Earth, and unify, because the enemy has to unify these 3 boxes. Hey, growing, glowing and gentle. He has to unify these 3 boxes in order for this new Earth to come about. It's like a Thanos energy. You get me? So endgame. We're in some endgame shit, yeah. So the whole point of this movie was for these 3 energy mother boxes to be found, aligned, unified, so to speak, and to create, to destroy Earth, so that they could create a darker world, something else. And the purpose of the 5 aspects was to unify, to stop this from happening. But they understood that even though these 5 aspects are strong within themselves, they are not stronger individually. They could never fight this energy individually. So they had to come together as one, and the one is Superman. The 5 aspects make Superman. Another thing about the higher self, the cyborg, whenever they referred to him before he became the cyborg, he had a jacket on, and the jacket had a number 7 on it. 7 representing the number of spirituality. That's how we knew he was the higher self. So boom. So these 5 aspects now have become one, and they understand in order to truly defeat the enemy, they have to move as one. So therefore they needed to resurrect Superman. That bit was wild for me, because it was so wild that they dug up his dead body and they used the remaining mother box that they still had, the one that had created Victor, to bring him back to life. Because they described the mother box as being an energy that doesn't differentiate between good and bad, life or death. It just focuses on bringing whatever energy the owner is holding. So if the owner is of darkness, then darkness will happen. If the owner is of light, then light will occur. So if the owner is of death, then death will occur. If the owner is of life, then life will occur. Now, they decided that they would resurrect Superman. And the resurrection of Superman is the resurrection of us. Because we are stronger, faster, more intuitive, richer, and more imaginative than we've ever been now that we've been working on our 5 aspects, haven't we? So now we've become superhuman. We have, haven't we? So, boom, they're like, let's mix science with spirituality and resurrect. And we've been resurrected, because I don't know how many butterfly moments we have been through, how many chrysalises we've had to break out of, how many life, death, rebirth moments we've had to have in order to be sitting here, right now, in this time, in this shift, in this reality. So, boom, that's the plan. The problem is now the mother box is dead. The mother box hasn't got any life. So who comes up with the idea of sparking life? The Flash, the inner child. The inner child is like, if I move fast enough, I can create an electric pulse that will bring that back to life, and it has to hit, the electric pulse has to hit the box at the same time it hits Superman. So where's Superman? They've emerged Superman into some type of fluid, some type of water, some type of I'm gonna say it's like I can't think of the word, is it ambi something, you know, the fluid that we're in the womb. They've submerged him into, they've broken into Victor's father's science lab, and they've found this space where they've got this fluid where they've submerged Superman. Who submerged Superman? It had to be Aquaman. It had to be the Shadow that did that work. Aquaman took him and put him under the water, and the inner child created the electrical pulse to open up the box, and the higher self facilitated amniotic fluid. Thank you, Leah. Thank you, Leah. Exactly that. So that's why I need you lot. That's why I'm so glad. I was like, please, you lot, tap in, because your contribution, trust me, it brings the story together. So so they put him in an I can't say the word. They put him in this fluid, yeah, and drop the box into the fluid, and the Flash makes a move so quick, faster than the speed of light, creates something, and boom, Superman's alive again. The 5 aspects, us working on our 5 aspects, has brought us into who we really are. It's with the assistance of these shifts, these energetic shifts, and these planetary movements, and these moon cycles, and these retrogrades, and all of the things. All of these things have brought us here today. And I feel like the reason, I don't think I'm not probably gonna fuck around with tarot no more. I'm just gonna sit with you like this. We're gonna just reason on things like this, because we don't need it. I mean, the tools are great if you want some type of confirmation, or you're not sure, but now we're living in a space of knowing. You have to trust what you know. If something doesn't feel good, then that's not the thing. If it feels good, then go forward. If you're not sure, you know, meditate on that. Meditate, go within yourself, ask the question before you go to sleep. When you wake up, there's the answer. Trust what you get. The dreams will show you, the different realms will show you. There'll be so many signs and symbols around you. You just have to trust. Faith. Divine Masculine said it, faith. You just have to have faith in knowing that what you see and what you feel is that. Trusting the body. Feel your way. This 7 year has been all about encouraging us to feel our way through this experience. Stop thinking our way through it logically. We can't do that anymore. Not to say that there's no space for it, but it has to be married with our intuition, with our instincts, with our telepathy, with all of these things. It has to be married to that. That's the whole point of the Age of Aquarius. The cyborg is showing us that this AI technology that we have been using for years, it's only because it's become a theme and everybody's like, AI wants to. AI has come like the immigrants that want to take our jobs that nobody wants. Really and truly, we've been fucking with AI for so long now that we don't even realize it. You don't have AI in your hand. I'm talking to you on AI. Dash that away if you're so against it. It has to be married with the spirituality. And this whole business of AI being able to take over humanity, it's impossible. I'm telling you today, it's impossible for AI to take over the organic aboriginals of this space. It's impossible. And I'm saying that with my whole chest. It's impossible. Because you're always one step ahead of it. Alright, boom. So they bring Superman back. Superman comes back. Superman doesn't remember who the fuck he is though. You see that? Superman comes back and has no idea who Superman is. He doesn't know that he's Kal-El, son of Jor-El, and that he's the keeper of the space. He's just woken up from the dead and he's whiling. And who's trying to calm him down? The Divine Feminine. Divine Feminine's like, look, you need to, the Divine Feminine's trying to put him in salt baths, burn some sage, and, and do 2 chanting. Sitting there with some sound bowls, trying to get man to remember himself. Kal-El, remember who you are. Remember who you are. And guess who gets Kal-El to remember who he is? Divine Masculine. Again, I just want to give Divine Masculine his flowers in this time, because I feel bad for dragging Divine Masculine in the ways that I've dragged Divine Masculine over the years. Divine Masculine's always been about this life. More so than we've given Divine Masculine energy credit. So Divine Masculine understands that love will help Superman remember who he is. So he brings in Lois. He brings in Lois Lane, the love of Clark Kent's life. And she does exactly what she says on the tin. She goes to him, he's calm. She says, let's just go. And they disappear. He smells her, he remembers her, and he takes her back to his childhood home. And that's where we all go. We are all looking for home. Now that they've shaken us up out of our slumber, we're just looking for home at this point. Home can be a space, home can be a person, home can be whatever home is for each of the individuals, each of us. But home is essentially each other. Home is remembering that we are all one. And that's what Clark Kent remembers. That's what he remembers when he takes himself home. He remembers like, shit, they woke me up for a reason. And the reason is to save home. To make sure that my home, our home, is safe from any danger. And that's essentially why we've been awakened, why the ascension process has happened, so that we can save our environment and each other. Oh, I love that. I really feel like this is easily one of my favorite lives I've ever done, because I truly believe that whatever it is that we're feeling and hearing in this space is truer than any card that can be pulled or any, any other theory that I feel like I've played around with. This one makes sense, that the whole reason that we were awakened or pulled into this ascension process. Oh, I love that, E. Perry, don't, because I'll be bawling with Dono. Is to return home, back to ourselves, back to each other, back to love. That's been the whole point. That's it. So nothing vibrates higher than the vibration of love. So whatever is being thrown at you through fear, because that's the enemy. Like in this movie, the enemy, what the enemy does is feeds off fear. And he, even when he went to Amazon and was just like, I've come here, you should fear me. The Amazons were like, fuck man, we're not scared of you. You can't do us nothing, coming like South London. Excuse me, thank you, because you live out there. There's a bee. You already know the spiritual meaning of the bee, isn't it? It's not even it's a wasp. Sorry, it's not a bee, because the bees be feeding. I'm starting to understand the difference between anything that was yellow and black and yellow was just a bee. but there's wasps and bees. That was a wasp that came in here. So whatever the wasp means, if you don't want to look up the spiritual meaning and type it in there for us, that's dope when we said all of that, because now I've lost my train of thought. But I think essentially what I was saying, that love, nothing vibrates higher than love. And yeah, the Amazonians were coming like some girls from South London. I ain't gonna lie to you. They really reminded me, they were like South London gal. Like, you can't shook a South London girl or a Southern girl. Southern girls, whichever part of the south of the world you are in, those are the fiercest females, the Southern ones. Don't play. And I get it double Dutch. I'm South London, I'm from South Africa. I got double Dutch. So it's been difficult for me to be scared of anything. So that's why I feel like I've fearlessly walked into this process, because what's the worst that can happen? In fact, now all I ask us now is, what's the best that can happen? And the best has happened. We're here. We're talking about aliens. We're talking about different realms. We're talking about truth being revealed. We're talking about coming back to ourselves. We're talking about coming home. We're talking about love, unconditional love. That's my vibe. That's my vibe. And fearlessness got us here. Do you get? So anyway, boom. So now there's a battle between the enemy and the 5 aspects. The 5 aspects have come together and they're fighting this battle, and obviously they're doing their individual thing. But it isn't until Superman comes, when they've all completely united, and I feel like that's what this represents now. This film means that the 5 aspects have completely united. I feel like I'm going to just start doing a Superman reading with all of the aspects, like what's the energy for all of the aspects now that they have completely harmonized. That's what I think I'm going to be doing. I love that so much. Hey Crystalline Alchemist girl. Yeah, that's what I'm going to start doing, and I'll start doing that here on YouTube, because now I'm doing the 5 aspects over on Patreon, but I'll do a Superman reading. We'll just test it out here, see how that feels and how that works for us. That means that we've got alignment of the aspects. We're not worried. There's no weak links anymore. Everybody's playing their part. Every aspect is playing their part within us. So therefore we have become super. Woo. The chills. So yeah, that's what we're doing. So now Superman comes. Don't worry, girl, and everything in its timing. What's symbolizing is taking action, merely having idea, not enough to see your way, blah, blah, blah. I missed it. It's not enough to merely dream of being famous, singer, blah, blah, blah. But seriously, I missed it. But anyway, I can't read that quick anyway. You already know. You already know. Dyslexia doesn't allow. But boom. I think that's all I need to say. So Superman comes in. And literally annihilates the enemy. And that's what I want to tell you lot. If you lot have been working on your 5 aspects the way you've been needing to work on the 5 aspects, aligning and really being comfortable, and it's been mostly, I think, the 2 aspects that have needed the most nurturing and love are the divine masculine and the shadow. And if you have been truly working on these aspects to align them with, or not align, to harmonize them with the higher self, the inner child, and the divine feminine, you're super right now, and you can't touch this. You're on some MC Hammer shit. No. You're on some MC Hammer shit. Can't touch this. Now what? Now what are we doing? What is there to fear? There's nothing to fear at this point, because you are Kal-El. You're the ultimate. The body. That's what this portal is telling us. That you have really come full circle. You have done enough now. Now I think it's just about getting used to what that means for us. Do you get me? Oh, I love that. Yeah, I think it's this. The rest of this 7 year is all about testing out your superhuman powers, your Superman powers. And now, what? Tomorrow, this is how I got into DC in the first place, because The Flash, the movie, it says that it's the best superhero movie ever made. And I feel like it's going to be the penultimate conclusion to this whole thing. I'm going to watch it tomorrow. I'm not even going to wait. I'm working late tomorrow. As soon as I finished work, I am going to the cinema to watch The Flash, to see what's good. And then I'm going to come back and tell you what was actually good. It's only a week till the next Portal. Yeah, next week, Saturday, the 24th. So I'll be back on the 24th, and it'll be the soul. We're going in. We're going in. So I feel like that's it, really and truly. That's what all this was about. Harmonizing the 5 aspects so that we can truly become superhuman. It was never really about anything other than that, because all the aspects of us were so fragmented that we couldn't truly be authentically who we were. And then no matter how much we said it, be authentic, we could not, because we hadn't found the harmony or the understanding of the aspects that we're working within us. But now that we have done that work and we've really studied ourselves, we've really seen what that means, and most importantly, we've been working faithfully, and also we have learned to forgive the past and allow cycles to come to an end, and understanding that everything that happened to us were for our highest, greatest good, were for reasons. Everybody played their part. You know, there are no villains in this whole thing. Everybody just did what they had to do in order to bring us to where we are right here, right now. And for us to experience the rest of our lives in a state of bliss and peace. Because who's going to check you at this point? Who can check Kal-El? Nobody can check Kal-El, you know. Who's checking Superman? No one. And you know what I love about this as well? There's Supergirl in this. I didn't really love Supergirl, but Supergirl's in the Flash movie. I just can't wait to watch it tomorrow and break it all down. And I'm going to I think I'm going to go twice. I'll probably go tomorrow, and then I'll go a day before I do the live next week, Saturday, so that I can just truly let it sink in and let all the messages, because I'm not going to be taking notes in the cinema. I can't see shit anyway. So that's all I wanted to tell you. That's all I wanted to tell you. So that was the 6/6 portal. You're superhuman now. Now what? Now what? Now what? Remember to understand that to be in such a divine vessel, you must treat this whole vessel with honor, respect, love, patience, and peace. Because it's taken me forever to get here. All my life, 47. It's taken me a really long time to be at peace with this vessel. And I think I'm finally there. Do you know what I mean? Like however it comes, whatever it do, I'm just grateful that it's carried me through this process. It has kept me, I wake up in my right mind, all of my limbs work, you know, everything's working in optimum. No, I can't say optimum, because blood, sometimes when I'm going up and down them stairs, I'll be needing a stair lift, blood. But it's doing its best. It's doing its best, and that's all I can ask it to do. And all I can do is improve. So my affirmation for the vessel is, I feel whole, I feel healthy, I feel my best version, and I will improve every day. That's our affirmation for the body, my G's. And I love you guys. Thank you so much for being with me. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for all the things. You guys just are everything to me. And I pray that you guys stick with me, even though you're going to see me weaning myself off tarot. I feel like I might even get a little podcasty and start interviewing some people, especially masculine energy now. Especially when I have a higher respect and reverence for them. Finally got there for them with that. And yeah, that's it. So I will see you next week, Saturday 24th, and then I will see you that following Saturday after that for the full moon in Capricorn, where we will be talking about the masculine energy and the mother wound, because we need to talk about that right now. All right? I love you guys, and thank you.